All right, we are joined now by Creighton head men's basketball coach Greg McDermott. Again, if you've got a question, just click on the raise hand feature and we will call on you. We will start with Matt DeMarinis from White and Blue Review.
Hey Mac, on Tuesday after the game, you said you want your team to learn when they win, learn when they lose, take what you can from it, wipe it, and move on. Before you move on, what did you learn from rewatching that game? And I know probably it is a make shot miss shot game, but what did you feel like were some of the other things that you guys could control that ultimately contributed to you guys coming up short?
Yeah, I think one thing we probably learned from it, Matt, in addition, is you talk in practice all the time about the importance of one possession and how one possession can really matter, even over a basketball game with 75 possessions each. You don't know which one's going to be the difference maker, and obviously, it turned out to be a one possession game, and we had some opportunities where we got the ball in the paint where we probably should have sprayed it that we didn't, and tried to challenge them at the rim, which is a tough thing to do at times. And there, there's a few 50-50 basketballs that I thought we had opportunities to go get, and we were maybe just a half a step slow in our reaction time to get after those. And those are going to be the difference in a high level game like that. So, there's plenty of good stuff to learn off of film, things that we did well that we need to build upon on both ends of the floor. And then some things where we fell a little bit short that we need to shore up on the practice floor.
All right, next up from 1620 The Zone, we'll go to John Bishop.
Mac, you mentioned a few times that you're going to see times where Antoine is going to do things that will be great, and other times where you want to pull your hair out. But from a defensive perspective, where does he need to improve the most?
Yeah, it's just it's there's such a drop off because Mitch, Marcus, Denzel, DJ, Christian, they've all been in our program at least 3 years. So like they understand, how the defense needs to move as the ball moves, and when to stunt, when to full rotate and recover. And Antoine's still learning those things. And the last thing you want defensively is someone that's out there thinking. When you're effectively doing your job defensively, you're just reacting. There's not a lot of thought going into it. And right now, I still think he's at the point where he's trying to think his way almost through every possession, and as a result, his reaction time is a little slow. But he's gotten better. He's improved, and frankly, we need him. We didn't have a lot of gas left in our tank at the end of that game because we had to ride those first five pretty hard. And as you looked at the numbers, their efficiency in the game on offense and defense was really, really good. And we've just got to continue. I've got to do a better job of blending that bench in at the right times. Maybe trying to get those guys playing with the starters more than playing with each other, so that there's some experience out there that can help get some of those younger guys through games like this. And and then let's not kid ourselves. Like Antoine has not been in a high level game like that on the road with that much on the line in his career. So it was the first time for him. First time for Ryan. Obviously, Sharif experienced it some last year. So it's just a learning and growing experience.
All right, next from the Omaha World Herald, we'll go to John Niatawa.
You're muted, John. There you
go. Sorry. I had one more about the team, because you mentioned going into it that they're so good and themselves so good that every now and then that they might expose weaknesses, maybe some that you didn't even know. Did they do that to you, or some of your deficiencies areas where you kind of just assumed that, this is where we're going to get tested in this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think at times maybe we were surprised at how quickly we got an open shot off just a little penetration in a kick, or getting it into the teeth of the defense with the pass, and then able to spray it out and have the shot. But our shot quality, the metrics were certainly in our favor in that game, but it was a close game, and I think I said after the game, I really believe, had we been able to go up to South Dakota with a healthy team and kind of work our way through some of the things that we had to kind of figure out on the fly in that game, it would have served us well in Allen Fieldhouse. But the reality of it is that we couldn't. We didn't have a healthy team at that time, and we did what we could to put our schedule together to get some games. But we were close, and there's far more good things to take from that game than negative. You just got to kind of move forward, and especially the stretch we're in. 6 games in 16 days, and you're either your practice days from here until Christmas, or either it's going to be a day after the game practice or a day before the game practice. That's all we have. So we better lock in on the things that we as a coaching staff decide that, all right, these are the few things that we need to build upon today, because you can't be on the court for 2 hours with the number of games that we have to play in this short amount of time.
Next from Channel 6, we'll go to Rex Smith.
Hey, Mac. Before this game on Friday was on your schedule, you had talked about how you and Coach Hoiberg both wanted to play this game if you could find a date and time. Can you speak a little bit to that and the importance of the in-state rivalry with them?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to both fan bases. I mean, I know our fan base enjoys the game against the Huskers, and I think their fan base feels the same. It's a game that our fans look forward to see every year. I think especially this year, where we can't get out, we can't move around, we can't go to games live. For our state to be able to watch their 2 favorite teams play, I think is going to be enjoyable for them. And I think Fred and I recognize that and wanted to make it happen. We decided to move the game here. Fred asked if I would consider that. Initially, I probably wasn't too excited about it, but I understand his thinking. It's his first few years at Nebraska. Had we went to their place this year and played in front of an empty gym, and then he comes back here next year, if everything's back to normal, it's in front of 18,000. So 2 of the first 3 years he's playing in front of 18,000, and we play in front of nobody there. And so I get it. And, I would like to think if the shoe was on the other foot and I'd asked that same favor to him, he would have done something similar. But the important thing was, let's figure out a way to play the game. I think it's healthy for both fan bases that this game gets played.
Next, we'll go to Andy Kendi with KETV.
Mac, I guess the easy answer is because of the players, but why have you had so much success against Nebraska?
I mean, we've had good teams, and they've had a couple coaching changes during my tenure here. So when you do that, you're starting over and you're trying to build a program. The reality of it is we've probably won most of the ones we were supposed to win, and maybe one a few years ago where, the year after Doug and Ethan and those guys graduated, that's one that we probably stole at their place. But, I don't know. It's just kind of a fluky deal, but I hope it continues.
Next, we'll go back to John Niatala.
I want to ask you just about a couple guys. Jacob didn't play. I was wondering if that was more matchups or injuries. And then with Alex O'Connell, there's rumors that perhaps the NCAA may just allow all transfers to be eligible. Are you preparing at this moment to work him in practice?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, we don't have a lot of practice time. So, right now we're keeping him on the scout team. And if and when they do that, we'll adjust to that. He did get a lot of reps with the top group when we had a bunch of guys out in quarantine, in an isolation. So, he's had some reps, but there's going to be a steep learning curve, for Alex, if and when he becomes eligible. Jacob's knees weren't feeling great before the game. And then, was anticipating a lot of small lineup from Kansas, and, was thinking that was going to be hard to play 3 big guys in a game like that when the game could get really small. And, we'll see what happens with Nebraska. Obviously, they run that 5-guard lineup out there a lot as well. But Jacob, it's kind of how he feels that day. He didn't feel great on game day yesterday. Felt a little bit better in practice. So we'll see what tomorrow brings.
All right, we've got about 5 minutes left. We'll go back to Matt DeMarinis.
Mac, I was just curious, in what you've seen from Nebraska on film, how similar are they to that St. John's group that kind of presented some matchup problems for you guys last year?
I mean, they're similar. I mean, they've from a skill set standpoint across the board, they've got guys that can, handle it, drive it, shoot it. They haven't shot a great percentage yet, but I think some of those guys are like a couple of our guys that haven't shot a great percentage yet. are much better shooters than what the numbers would indicate at this point. And then their length defensively, really across the board, their length and athleticism. They're forcing a lot of turnovers and turning those turnovers into baskets. And we had some issues against KU with those, what I call pick six turnovers, where those live ball turnovers that turn into baskets on the other end, where you're not able to get your defense set. And Fred's done a good job with this group in that regard, and really a lot of interchangeable parts. So that certainly presents a challenge.
All right, we'll go to KETV's Andy Kendi.
Hey, Mac, when you got a couple guys who can shoot the heck out of the ball and they're not shooting it as well as they have traditionally, how do you handle that with Mitch and Zagorowski? You just tell them to keep at it because it's going to turn around at some point.
Yeah, you figure out ways to get him more shots. That's what you do, and it's just a matter of time. And like I said before, there's a lot of things in this day and age with the way our world is and the way we have to live from a basketball standpoint right now that keep me awake at night, and those two not making shots, it doesn't fall into that category.
All right, we'll go to John Bishop, 1620 The Zone.
Just how was Marcus in practice yesterday coming off that game? You talked about it on our post-game show, how devastated he was. How was he attitude-wise?
He was good. Yeah, and he gets it. He understands it. Like he's prepared himself for that. But John, you also know, being around him, like the kid hates to lose. So if he thinks he has any part in a loss taking place, he's going to take it harder than most. He's a perfectionist. He's a competitor. So he'll be back in that situation again, and I'm confident the result will be much different next time.
Go to John Niatala.
Greg, I just had kind of a big picture question. Like, how are your guys doing? Like, we've heard some stories nationally just about, you're a little bit more isolated now. I mean, this obviously the pandemic's wearing on everyone, and it's just there's no fans in the arenas for the most part. It's just sort of a different experience, not anything they really signed up for. How have you worked with them to handle that, and how do you think they're doing so far a couple weeks into the season?
I mean, I'll be honest with you, John. It sucks. I mean, that's about as blunt as I can put it. The days are long. Even during the break, outside of practice time, we could have team events, whether we go to Topgolf or go do some team function as a group, or they go to a movie or go to a restaurant or go hang out at somebody else's apartment. None of that's happening. I mean, they're scared to death that they're going to bring the virus into our building and into the team, and we're going to have to shut down again. So their life it's not fair, and that's just the reality. And the only thing they can grab hold of is trying to play these games. So it's walking into the CHI Health Center and playing in front of an empty building it's not what they signed up for, but this is what we have to deal with at this point in time. And that's why the Kansas game, while, wasn't the normal experience of Allen Fieldhouse, it was refreshing for them to have some people yell air ball at them when they shoot an air ball, and also have this, 600 or 700 Creighton fans, getting the defense chant started in Allen Fieldhouse, and have all those Jayhawk fans look over their shoulder like, what in the heck is happening here? This does not happen in this building. So, that was refreshing. And, I look forward to the day where we can get some fans and some environment in there. But John, the reality of it is like, this isn't a great deal for these student athletes. It just isn't. Their life off the court has been turned upside down. Their families come to watch them play. They can't really have access to their families because you don't want to risk getting the virus. So, I mean, nothing is normal, and we're trying to make their experience from a basketball standpoint as good as we possibly can. But let's not kid ourselves. Like, what their experience isn't near what it should be, and I'm hopeful that that'll turn around sooner rather than later.
All right, we've got time for one more question. If anybody's got a question. All right, well then I don't see any questions, so that'll wrap it up with Coach McDermott. We'll have Damian Jefferson here shortly.
Thanks for getting up early, Chattel.
All right, we are joined now by senior forward Damian Jefferson. We'll again take questions. Click on the raise hand feature. We'll start with Matt DeMarinis from White and Blue Review.
Hey DJ, how are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Pretty good. I was just curious because obviously this you can relate to this in terms of what you do to teams, but with the challenge of defending a team like Nebraska that at times, for the most part on the court, can put five guys on the floor that can all score in different ways. How challenging is that to defend, especially when you're used to being that team? I guess.
Right. No, that could be really challenging, especially like when you got five guys, like you said, five guys on the court that can all score and willing to get to the paint and dish it out to an open man. So that's very challenging. But I mean, Coach Mack got a game plan for it, and I feel like if we just sit down and guard and follow the game plan, we'll be good.
All right, our next question from Channel 7 will be Andy Kendi.
Hey, Damon. Coach Max talked about the importance of this game to the fans. How important is it to you as a player? Does it feel different when you play in Nebraska rather than playing some other Big East opponent or non-conference opponent? Is it a big deal for you players?
I feel like it is a big deal because like we're in the same state, and it's a pride thing. Especially it's a pride thing for us being in the same state and having that bragging rights. Because if I'm not too sure, I feel like Creighton has got the numbers on Nebraska. So, so that's something we definitely want to keep it up, man. Because yeah, it's definitely a pride thing. So that's something we got to keep up.
All right, next up, we'll go to the Omaha World Herald's John Niatawa.
Damian, I know you spend a lot of time working on handling the ball and doing stuff, creating an open court. We saw some of that at Kansas. Just your individual performance, that piece of it, is that what you want to see? Is that kind of a result of a lot of work going in the offseason to make some of the plays you made with the ball in your hands?
Oh yeah, for sure. Me coming back, I talked to Coach Mack a lot and the coaching staff period, and I knew that one of the things I had to do and show people that I can do is handle the ball coming off ball screens and be able to make the right plays and make the right reads for the team. And so I'm comfortable doing that. And Coach Mack said he's comfortable with me doing that. He trusts me, and so far I feel like I've done a great job doing that and making the right read.
All right, next.
Sorry, Rob. Can I just ask a quick follow?
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, DJ, you had like as early in the fast break where I think you might have gone either 1-on-1 or 1-on-2. Like, was that okay? Was that good? I mean, you got the layup.
No, that's good, man. That's good. I'm just trying to get back into my groove, man. Get back into doing what I do. So yeah, I feel like that was good. Coach Mack, he liked it. I scored it, so that's all that matters.
Gotcha.
All right, we'll go to Rex Smith from Channel 6 Sports.
Hey, DJ, can you talk a little bit about the pride you take in rebounding, especially a lot of times you're, got to rebound over bigger guys, and I think of one you had in the game where you got the offensive board, put it back up, had the and one near the end. Can you just talk about how much pride you take in, rebounding?
I mean, I take a lot of pride in rebounding. Actually, I'm mad at myself because I haven't been crashing the boards as I should. I feel like I've been struggling, like just crashing the glass and being able to get back and to be able to guard my man. So I mean, that's just on me. But I take a lot of pride into rebounding, and I know in order to help this team win, I have to rebound the ball offensively and defensively, and that's something you will see from me starting next game and here on out. Me rebounding the ball more.
All right, next from 1620 The Zone, we'll go to John Bishop.
DJ, a couple games ago on our post-game show, you said you and Denzel kind of have this little competition trying to be the best defender on the team, take that mantle that Tyshawn had last year. After Denzel held Abaji to no points, you think he's got the lead on you now?
Man, I feel like he definitely had the lead on me because Abaji, he's a great scorer. He's probably one of the best scorers on that team, and I feel like Denzel held him to 0 points, and we haven't seen that in a long time. So he definitely got the lead on me right now, but I feel like I'll be able to top him. I'll be able to do good on that. But I'm proud of Denzel, man. And as a team, I'm proud of us.
All right, next we'll go back to John Niatawa.
Man, we all know how much of a competitor Marcus is. I just wonder if you guys say anything to him, or does anything even need to be said after that tough one?
Now, I feel like nothing needs to be said. I mean, if we had an opportunity again and we were able to pick somebody to shoot the free throws, I'm pretty sure everybody on the team would pick Marcus to shoot those free throws. So I mean, he hard on himself, and I feel like after the game, I believe he came right into the CC and shot a lot of free throws that night. So that's something about Marcus. He hard on himself, and he know he should have made that free throw. But as a team, I missed 3 free throws in a row. I feel like CB missed some. And just as a team, we all missed free throws, and if we all made our free throws, that 1 point loss would have turned into like a 3 point lead for us, and we would have won that game. So it's not on Marcus. I feel like Marcus gonna be great from here on out, but he just something. It happens, man. Nobody's perfect. Nobody perfect.
All right, next we'll go back to Rex Smith, Channel 6.
DJ, Coach Mack talked a lot about how difficult it is for you guys as players this year with, playing without fans at your home stadium and, normal team activities that you might do in a normal year you can't do, and, how afraid everyone is of bringing the virus back to the team and having to shut it down. Can you just talk a little bit about that from a player's perspective, and to follow up how refreshing it was to have fans in the stands in Kansas the other day?
It's definitely weird. I'm sure you guys know, man. Once the CHI get rocking with all those fans, with 17,000, man, it's hard for us to lose in that building, man, because we feed off the fans, and without the fans being there, it's definitely kind of weird, especially for a game like this in Nebraska. It's unfortunate we can't have fans, but we still got to come out there and get the job done. And seeing fans at Kansas, man, I was actually surprised. I'm like, wow, it's like I actually thought 1,200 people was a lot of people in one building. So it's the most we haven't seen. It's the most we have seen this year or so, man. It was beautiful, man. Especially see all those Creighton fans there cheering us on and hearing those CU chants that kind of got us going. And man, that's something that we definitely miss.
All right, we'll go back to John Niatala.
Kind of an extension of that, Damian. What are you doing with your free time? You guys don't have class right now. You can't really go out.
Yeah.
Playing video games,
Hey,
staring at the wall.
everybody on the team is like playing a lot of video games. We all play against each other to see who the best in this game and that game. So that's something we do. Besides spending time on the basketball court, man, that's something we do. Just spend time on the video games and just hang out and chill.
Got time for about 4 or 5 minutes. If anybody's got a question, we'll go next to Andy Kendi. But again, if you've got a question, click on the raise hand feature. Andy, go ahead.
Damian, who's the best at what? What's your specialty video game wise then?
I play a lot of Call of Duty. I feel like I'm the best on the team. You might have some people that's pretty biased that comment. So you might have guys like Christian or Antoine or Sharif saying they better than me at that. But I'm sure we all know who's the best at that game.
All right. Are there any additional questions for Damian Jefferson? All right, John Niatala, go ahead.
Yeah, I just have one about Denzel because you mentioned how he's kind of he has both competing with Denzel well, but man, he just seems to be at a different level this year. I feel like I know he worked a lot on the off season, but just how active he's been with his hands and diving, making plays. Like, what have you seen? Just the way he's made his impact already in 3 games. He seems to.
Yeah, I'm just as surprised as y'all, man. Like, 'cause we don't see those type of plays from Denzel in practice. And actually, one of our assistant coaches told him, he said, "Do you take it personal when we play guys instead of playing in practice against the guys on your team?" He said, "Yeah, I just take it personal." So, hey, man, I'm proud of Denzel. If he gonna do that, hey, my hats off to you, man. Just keep doing it, and obviously we're gonna keep getting wins. But he been doing a great job. Now I'm proud of Denzel being active and being able to help us.
He seems like such a soft-spoken dude. Like when I talk to him, but like the game comes on, then all of a sudden he's trash talking.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, don't let that fool y'all. Don't let that fool y'all. That dude is he's something else, man. Denzel is something else.
He's just a gamer.
He's just a gamer. I can give you that. In practice, he go through the flows, go through the motion, but in the game, he turns it on. He one of those guys who can turn it on and be like that.
All right, last chance for questions. I don't see any in the queue. So thank you, Damian, for your time.
Yep.
Media, we will send you this link out